Hi, everybody. It's been a while. The last time I think my sound was a little off. I'm hoping that my sound is okay and not too wonky as it was the last time. It was a little bit staticky. I'm not feeling great, so I haven't washed my hair or done anything, and I'm just in my robe. But I saw that I had a few more followers, and as is the case with me, whenever I get a few more, I say, okay, it's time to start doing something and talking about something. So, first things first, and not what you expect, go over to Raul Danash's channel. Raul Danash is a friend of mine, and I play on I've played on his Conan run through, and now I'm playing in his Dragonbane run through of Icewind Dale, a very famous Dungeons and Dragons, Wizards of the Coast, TSR, um, world or part of Faerun, and so or Forgotten Realms. And so please go and watch that. It's lots of fun. It's been great. Also, the Effect podcast channel on YouTube is also a great place to go, and I encourage you to start looking for Tales of the Old West or Tales from the Old West. I don't know. It was confusing the last time when I saw their video, but please watch their video and go over to YouTube. You all know how to type, and so I leave that to you. Rald Anash, Rald Anash's channel. So, and also Effect with a K. And so both of those have me playing in some of their games. And the last game for Effect was last night. We had lots and lots and lots of fun, and it's kind of Vaesen, Year Zero Engine game, uh, in a Cthulhu setting that is based out of their Harlem setting, and it was just absolutely wonderful to play in that setting and have those characters and the complications as well. The numerous different levels of Cthulhu, also being an African American living in the 20s, 30s, and it was a privilege to play in Thomas's mini campaign of that, and so that was lots of fun. Today, what I want to talk about is just basically games that I've bought over the past month and a half since the last time that we spoke. So here, The Weird. This is a Monty Cook game. I don't even think that it has a PDF. When I got it at my friendly local game store, it it wasn't part of Bits and Mortar. Greatly disappointing for me. It's essentially thousands and thousands of amazing tables. And the reason why I can say that is that you have a D100, but it's four different tables that are represented, and they kind of go down. So you'll see here that, and I'm not gonna zoom in, but here you go from 1 to about 58, and then once you get to 76, a new part of the table shows up, and so there are different kind of permutations. So you roll a D100, and you also roll a D4, and that will determine which part of the table you look at. I mean, it's the weird. And what does that mean? Well, it's for anything. It's for sci-fi, fantasy, superheroes, anything. You can basically, and each table is is appropriate to that style of gameplay, and so you have so many different options. The options are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and if I go to the beginning of the book, I can tell you what they all are. One of the things, it's very humid here in the house, and it's humid uh, just because of the fact that it's summer. And I do find that the pages are starting to warp a bit. That's kind of my only criticism. The art is really, really beautiful, very amazing. So you have sci-fi, you have fantasy, you have spell modification, weird creatures, um, and so there's just tons and tons and tons of stuff. It's all, if you can see the binding, it's all kind of color coded. Great purchase if you want to just randomly roll. It was encouraged to buy by one of the friendly local game store sellers, and after thinking about it, I bought it. It's $71 Canadian or $72 Canadian. I don't see an MSRP for the States, but great book, wonderful, 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 and you can just roll and have fun. But if you're a GM, this is a great little weird table for so many different things. Take a look at it if it's at your game store, and I'll throw this over here. I've bought Heart in the past, Spire Heart. I love what I love what's coming out of Grant Howlett and the group that he has, which is the publishing house is Rowan, Rook, and Deckard. Rowan, Rook, and Deckard, and they publish a lot of really, really good games. You may know them from Honey Heist because of Critical Role, if you watch that, and most people do. I don't, but I don't have time. I don't have 4 hours just to give to a show, and catching up is a nightmare. But they did premiere this many, many years ago, and they've really developed. Heart is an amazing game, better, I believe, than Spire. Spire is the world, Heart is the underworld of it, and it is remarkable. I encourage you to get it. Mages hooked on illegal magic, desperate for another hit. Ruins ancient beyond reckoning, overgrown with bone and sinew, a sunken moon, fecund and glorious, that calls the faithful ever deeper, glyph-marked bees that swarm within you and seal your madness up with wax, downtrodden mercenaries bearing the weight of a lost recitement on their shoulders, or regiment. Recitement. Regal witches who channel unearthly powers through their own diseased blood. It's dark, but it's a great game. And the reason why I bring this up, because I think I've mentioned it to you before, is I did the thing, and again, $71.99 for this Canadian. US, it's marked down. It's marked as $55. So, and in the UK, £45. So this is another Rowan, Rook, and Deckard publication. It's by Kieran Gillen. If you watch him online, he's a very fast speaker. And Stephanie Hans, who is I believe, the illustrator. And it's been published by Rowan, Rook, and Deckard. And they have Dye, this Kieran Gillen, is known for his comic about Dye. And he's turned this into an absolutely fantastic product. And it's a great role-playing game. The way to sum it up, and you have a little comic in the beginning to set you up for what to expect, if I can find it. There it is. You are old school role players, or players who played when you were young. You are now much older. You've reconnected, and now you're playing a role-playing game in a role-playing game, and then you become that in a role-playing game. of your own making because of the decisions that you have made as an adult. And it's kind of like a combination of how you've changed, what you wanted to be in the fantasy world when you first created. That's my dog chewing on a bone. Sorry about that. What you wanted to be when you were young as a character, then what did you become as a person, and then going back, looking back, who are you? The GM determines who you should be, and die is not just a reference to dying, it's a reference to various dice that pertain to your class, as it were. So the fighter is called in this Kuma. Stop. Kuma. Stop. The fighter is called and of course, I don't have this right off the top because I haven't. Emotion Knight. An Emotion Knight rolls a D8 because the D8 is so it is so emblematic of the of rolling your sword in D&D. And they use the stat, or not the stats, but they use the names of the stats. It is a dice pool system, but you're rolling, on strength, wisdom, con, dexterity, intelligence, and Siri's going to speak to me in a second. And
I found some web results. I can show them if you ask again from your iPhone.
Doesn't that drive you nuts? It drives me nuts. I'm not even going to bother editing that out. Fuck it. And charisma. So you have the 6 general D&D attributes. But just because of that flavor, because most people have an understanding of that system, but it's not that system at all. It is very, very enticing. Beautiful, beautiful book. Even if you use it as a reference book, it's great. But that's what I bought. Now for something kind of fun and disappointing at the same time, and I may have spoken about it before, but I got Rivers of London a long time ago, a long time meaning months, and one of the things that I noticed, and I'm sorry, but I've got to be honest about this, and I'm not going to call out a particular artist, but here are some of the main characters. So you have Peter Grant. If you know anything about Rivers of London and the books, Peter Grant is the main character. His image is shit. For a company like, for a publishing company like Chaosium, to publish this type of art is, to me, disgusting. It has no place in the modern, in modern books from big companies. If you're paying, $59 or $60 American for this, you should expect high quality art. To cheap out on just mundane art is just inappropriate. I think that that's abusing the buyer. And in a day when when artists are competing against AI, and I know that there's a great hatred of AI generated works, but those works are quite stunning. Yes. Amalgamated from so many different things, stolen, if you were, from many different artists. But the quality cannot be argued. Well, it can be argued, but it's far superior to a lot of stuff that we're seeing. I got Pendragon, and Pendragon, I love it. I've loved it since I was young. I've just always thought that it was a great system. I still think it's a great system. You don't need the GM guide, which they don't provide. There's a lot of book references in here that they have not published. It's annoying as crap. It's not as annoying as some of the art. And some of the art is really, really good. I love these little images at the bottom of the pages. I think that they're beautiful. I love the layout. I think the layout is great. I love this stuff. I think these type of things are absolutely fantastic. So, apart from my anger about putting out a core book that really is the player's handbook, and having to use the 5.2 GM rules, and they even went as far as giving out a free uh, uh, players stuff. Is some of the art which just leaves me scratching my head, saying, "What were you thinking?" Now, this is one of the better pieces of art that I would say is not that great. And that's, as I say, one of the better pieces of art of that style. But some of it just does not, it doesn't seem to fit. It doesn't seem to jive with the aesthetic that they're going for in the other parts. And I should have marked a page because it is a vast tome. But there's art in here which is just not great. Uh, it, it's not as evocative. It doesn't meet the same style here as you do say, and I'm trying to find one of the, as here. It's completely arbitrary and random. And I think for a Chaosium book, which I think prides itself on their production values, I'm happy I bought it because I love the game. But if you're a first time buyer of Pendragon and you're looking at this with all these issues of not publishing kind of a full game all at once, you'd be left disappointed and maybe even regretting your purchase. It's just annoying. So that's kind of I've gone from high to kind of low. And then I guess what I'll do is I'll talk about this stuff. Locations, challenges, denizens, encounters, a fortune. I spent an awful lot of money, Canadian. Pink dice. I love pink dice. I don't have enough pink dice, and I love the style of this. And this comes from Dirty Vortex. Now, Dirty Vortex is coming out with some, and I'm not sure if it's been on Kickstarter. I think that it's coming to Kickstarter or backer kit, and it's Art Deco dice. And I am a sucker for the Art Deco movement and Art Deco period. And so I bought these pink dice, and the quality is great. So I will be backing some of those Art Deco dice. But it cost a fortune. Well over, I think it was $200, and then I got nabbed for friggin' Canadian import and duty tax. I bought the screen. I don't often use screens, but this is Solemn Veil. Body, mind, and soul are your stats. You have the stage rules of that the narrator kind of helps in its narration. I just love this. Solemn Veil as a book comes in at a hefty, if I can find 349 pages. It is, and it comes with a ribbon. It's just great. Actually, all of these books that I've mentioned come with a ribbon, which just superior. This is just loaded with goodness. Horror, a folk horror set in the West Country, Dorset, Cornwall, in England. Very much a the village has secrets. You are outsiders coming into the village for whatever reason. One of the online games is a TV crew coming in to interview a kid who's sent a letter to a kids program guy, and they go to the door, and they find this mystery, and it is quite dark. It's a great setting. Um, the art is fantastic throughout, very consistent throughout. It has it is very kind of appropriate in terms of its modernity. So it is not just showing a bunch of same looking people. I'm not sure if the dinner lady should be fat, but or large, or genetically uh, uh, predisposed, or thyroid issues or whatever. And I apologize if you don't like that, but I'm fat, so whatever. Um, but it's got many different uh, races, genders, gender fluid. It's wonderful, and what it does is it sets up this beautiful, and here's a good kind of image of the idyllic pastoral weirdness that comes with folk horror. Everything seems nice and wonderful, and I'm reminded of Midsummer, which was a film where, you know, you go into this festival in Sweden and you think that everything is fine and dandy until they start doing things that would be spoilers, so I'm not going to say, but it's a wow. Great, great purchase. I don't regret the $200. Moving on to just the last things. If you haven't picked up Dragonbane, and if you're watching this and you're a 5e viewer or 5e player and you tolerate me, um, and if you're worried that this is too kiddie with the mallards, which are duck people, um, and you think that it's just going to be a silly romp, it's not a silly romp. It's an excellent system. I'm playing in actually 3 campaigns, enjoying it immensely. I never thought that I would, but I do. It's cheap as chips. It was $49 for the hardcover for the bestiary and for the core rulebook. These are the hardcover versions, not the one in the starter set. But I encourage you to get the starter set. These hardcover books are absolutely essential. I think that you will be well satisfied and pleased with the combination of the basic role playing kind of system merged with a very uh, Dungeons and Dragons element, such as death saves, which you'll very easily understand. Uh, but the system itself is beautiful. It's not a year zero system. It's a roll. It's a D20 roll under system, and a crit is a 1, and a bane, a naughty bad thing, is a 20. So it's roll under, absolutely fantastic. I cannot say enough. It sat on my shelf. The starter set. It sat on my shelf for almost a year after I had purchased it, not feeling, and I think I said this in the last video, not feeling like fantasy. I have absolutely fallen in love with the system. I don't know if I would say that it's my top system yet, but it's really close. Last but not least is Dice. I'm not sponsored by any of these people. I haven't received any free copies or anything like that, which seems to be a thing that YouTubers say. This was $39 Canadian, which is pretty hefty. Now, I've got a blue dice in there, but it comes with 3 D4s 4d6s, 2d8s, 2d10s, 1 percentile dice, uh, 1d12, and 2d20s. And you can also buy a larger version of most of these. This is called Fighter's Resolve, and it is from Roll Initiative. So Roll Initiative, it's called Diffusion Dice, and these are pink. I hope that it centers. But anyway, they are very high visibility. So if you're getting older, they're great for being able to read. The 20s sometimes come with a indicator, kind of like a, either a shield and sword or a bear or claw or something like that, depending on what you get. The D4s are, I guess, relatively unique. They're becoming more in style. They're not the pittons that you're used to, or things that you throw on the ground that will cut your feet apart. They're rectangular with rolled edges, and I find these to be just as sufficient and actually really pretty and beautiful to hold and roll. So if you like D4s, this is an I bought a number of these, probably too many if my wife only knew. And as a diceaholic, I can't recommend them enough. That's it. Done. I'm finished. I feel like shit. I look like shit. And this is just to kind of encourage you to go out, get some stuff. There's probably about 2 books or 3 that are on my shelf of shame at the moment, but they've only been recently bought for the most part. I'm not sure if I'll play Rivers again. I may not. I will definitely play Heart. I will definitely play Die. I will definitely use the weird rolling tables for sure as a GM, and I'm probably going to be bringing that with me. I wish that there was a PDF, just so that I could, bring it on my iPad, so that I didn't have to carry all these stupid books. Um, Pendragon, I'm just so looking forward to playing. Just disappointed with the art, and disappointed with their uh, distribution uh, mentality. It would have been far better for them to wait and then distribute it than to distribute something which refers to books that aren't even published. But that's not as annoying as the art. Uh, and Dragonbane. Dragonbane is amazing, and Solemn Veil is completely different. A very narrative game, extremely narrative game, and Dragonbane is very much um, it is a strategy. It is a strategy game, so you get all elements in it, just like you would D&D. I did say that's it, that's it, that's it. But last night, no, 2 nights ago, I played Hallows. I looked at Hallows and I thought that it was board gamey. Now it's another Rowan Rook and Deckard publication. It's just come off of Kickstarter. I didn't, or backer kit. I didn't back it. I now regret it. Again, it would have cost $200. Uh, I thought that it was board gamey. After playing it, I think the moniker is boss fights done right. And I had 2 hours of some of the most fun that I've had. It wasn't recorded. It was just played by some friends online, and it was great. It was really truly great. So I'm going to back it when it comes up for the late backers. So anyway, now that's it. Take care. I'll see you. Thank you for those who do subscribe and stuff. And I'll see you when I buy some more stuff, or if I have anything interesting to say philosophically or not. Bye.